Hexa Pinball reveals Space Hunt. Queen gains Bohemian Rhapsody. American Pinball interview.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Houston. I'm the editor of Pinball Magazine, and I'm joined by...
Yes, hello, I'm Martin Ayer, but I'm the editor of Pinball News, and we are here. I'm here with Jonathan, and we are going to look back at all the exciting news that took place in the pinball world during the month of May 2023.
If you're listening to this, you probably know that we do this every month.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, we have been doing this for like the past 62 months, so we're counting actually now.
Yeah, so we'd like to apologise in advance for the past 5 years. But anyway, we have a lot to talk about this month. We quite often say it's been a quiet month and there have been no new games launched, but there has been a new game.
Quite often say it's been a very exciting month, and that's also true. In this case, only one new game announced, but still a lot of news to cover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even though none of the major manufacturers have been releasing new titles, but we do have a new game from a new manufacturer, a first game from a new manufacturer in France, which was our main headline, our first headline this month.
So new manufacturer in Europe as well. So that doesn't get any better for Europe, I suppose. With a new game with surprisingly cool artwork, I would say. Yeah,
well, we're talking about Hexa Pinball, who are based in France, and we've covered them before in these pincasts. We've talked about the upcoming game Space Hunt and the artwork which they've revealed for the back glass, and but now come the 1st of June was their launch date to actually reveal the game.
Yes.
And there's quite a lot to see.
It's a video posted on their social media, Facebook, and probably other social media, but I watched it on Facebook. It's a packed game. It has a bit of a 90s feel to it. I would say actually late 80s, early 90s.
As far as the playfield goes, I think that's true. Yeah, I mean the back box and display is sort of very modern Sternish. Really, it's got about a Stern size LCD in the back box, and it's a very conventional shape, I'd say, to the game. You know, it's a standard size, standard shaped cabinet as you'd expect. No unusual features. It's got folds down the back box. It's got all the sort of normal body armor and rails and things on it. But it looks a very vibrant and colourful game. Certainly from the outside,
pinkish, I would say.
Yeah, that's certainly the sort of the theme: pink, purple. Yeah, that's the colour scheme, I would say, and it's obviously an original title, Space Hunt.
Yeah.
There is a storyline behind it where you are playing a role of a ball, where you need to try and free yourself, release yourself from the you're called Spherus, and you try and free yourself and your people from the space hunters who are trying to enslave you. So easily understandable theme. You know, there are alien baddies, and you're the good guys, and you're trying to defeat them and escape from them.
Right. Okay. And I have to say the artwork looks very interesting.
Yes, it's a nice looking game, I'd say. The playfield itself is relatively simple, although it's certainly not lacking in features. It's got four, I'd say. 3 ramp shots, I think. 4 ramp shots. Yes, there's a left and right outer ramp. The left outer ramp feeds to a mini playfield, which has a mini flipper on it, and it's an unusual design of a mini playfield. It's got an orbit to it, an orbit shot, but the centre of the mini playfield is actually cut out. There is a hole in the middle of it. in which a pendulum hangs. So your aim is to shoot the ball around the perimeter of that hole and back to the flipper and do orbit shots. And then eventually you will shoot the ball at a pendulum which is hanging in the middle of the hole, in the middle of the upper playfield or the mini playfield, which will then drop the ball down into the main playfield level. Right. There are inner left and right ramps which both feed to the same wire form, and there is there's a sort of 180 degree U-turn hot dog type ramp which feeds back on a different wire form. So there's no shortage of ramps and wire forms there. There's some drop targets all over the place, some locks, and escape lane back into the shooter lane, two main flippers, and the one mini upper flipper on the mini playfield. So quite a lot to go for on that, I would say. And there's also have illuminated drop targets, which is a nice idea, which was previously, I think, it was something which was planned for Cactus Canyon a long time ago, but they couldn't get the resins to be reliable enough or to be solid enough to not break. But the newer versions of the games do have illuminated drop targets, which work well, and this game has them as well. So that's looking good.
Total Nuclear Annihilation, the second run, also uses illuminated drop targets.
Well remembered. Yep, good point.
Yeah. So are there, this is a new manufacturer. Does the game come in different models, or is it just one model and that's it?
No, there are actually two models. The price, it's... let me talk about the pricing first of all, which is... I'd say is on the high side, for a new manufacturer. You'd imagine coming out with the first game, you try and pitch it a bit low, but the price being from a French manufacturer is priced in euros, so it comes in at 8,900 euros, including 20% value-added tax for VAT. So you could probably work out what that would be minus the 20%, but which would actually make it a lot more feasible, and it's probably something which non-EU buyers would get. But that's 8,900 euros for a standard game. But there is an enhanced version with the so-called Elegance package, which costs another 2,100 euros, which takes the total up to 11,000 euros, but brings with it a mirror back glass, what they call Radcals style cabinet art, so high gloss, high intensity artwork on the cabinet sides, a violet Bordeaux paint, so as they call it, which the game is made in the Bordeaux region. There's a violet Bordeaux paint for the metalwork on for the side rails and the hinges and things like that. Anti-reflective glass, art blades, pin sound speakers, and a pin sound shaker motor. Okay. If you don't go for the enhanced one, you get you still get quite a lot with it. You get stereo sound, but not through pin sound speakers. So you get a 3-channel amplifier. The game has 120 plus RGB LEDs in it, so it has a lot of lighting and effects options there for that. And now at the moment, delivery is estimated for the fourth quarter of 2023. So this year, we're looking towards.
Always a dangerous estimate.
It is, but it's the first games. They should. They have got at least one made, so they know how to make the game. But they should have an idea.
If you get orders for 500 games, you can't make 500 games in 3 months. So.
True, that's true. Yep. So we should probably say delivery starting in the fourth quarter of 2023. Yes. Now there's the horrible word which comes up every now and again, which is begins with the letters P and O, and strike fear into the heart of many buyers, which are pre-orders. So they Hexa Pinball are taking pre-orders on the game, but not themselves, through their distributors. And as far as I can see, they only have 3 distributors who are all French based. Now, one of them I saw today has posted on Facebook saying that they will take a €2,000 deposit on a game. Other distributors may have different rules, but no one, I don't suppose, is asking for the full game price up front. But pre-orders, it's a difficult subject, isn't it? Especially when you're talking about...
Yeah, well, we got a bad history with pre-order games.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. In the pinball
everybody would prefer it. You just said the games are available now, buy them.
Right.
Otherwise, why launch the game now if you haven't got the games ready?
Right, okay. I think what might help is, and this might be an advice to Hexa Pinball, we've seen multiple companies attempt building pinball machines. Everybody can design a game, which looks great. Taking it into production is a different beast, and it might help to convince people, if they're interested in the game, to show what manufacturing capacities they have. I mean, we've seen factory tours, and we'll get to that later on, from various pinball companies, where you can basically see that some are taking a very professional approach, and others are basically assembling games in office spaces with the playfields on top of drawers or so. And it might still work, but if you want to convince people that you're capable of building pinball machines, show your manufacturing capacity.
Yes, indeed. And the game will be available to play if you are in France and are wondering about whether to put a pre-order in. I'll guess that the French market is their initial target, but either way, you'll be able to go to the Salon de Pontac on the June the 10th or 11th, where there is a pinball show, and you'll be able to play the game there and even discover some of the exclusive features that haven't yet been revealed about how it plays. Okay. So that sounds interesting.
I assume that as soon as we we might see a live stream from that show, or people will video.
I'm sure they will. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So anyway, if you want to find out more details about Space Hunt, then you can go to the hexa-pinball.com website, where you can see pictures of the game and find out how and find the distributors where you can pre-order it if you decide to buy the game. Right.
So in the meantime, I'm trying to look up where this Salon de Pontac is, whether it's worth the drive. But I'll suppose I'll look that up later on.
Yeah, well, I guess it's going to be not this weekend coming up, but the weekend after. So if you're free then and able to get there, it will probably be a good show to go and visit. I'm sure it'll be a good show anyway.
Weekends are always difficult for me, but oh well.
Yeah.
So anyway, great news that we have a new manufacturer of pinball machines in Europe, France this time, and hopefully they will do as well as the other European pinball manufacturers, such as Pedretti Gaming / Pinball Brothers and Dutch Pinball.
Yeah, so congratulations to Hexa Pinball. We look forward to seeing more about the game, and we'll bring you more details just as soon as we get them in our next PINcast.
Right, so now I just mentioned Pinball Brothers.
You did, I noticed that.
Yeah, and they have news as well. Actually, straight fresh off the press, I would say.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, because that news was announced today, and
what is that news?
The news is that they have completed the 1.0 game code for Queen, which includes the long-awaited song Bohemian Rhapsody. And this update will become available, tomorrow we're recording this technically already on June the 2nd. It's after midnight over here. So today, and It's quite an interesting mini wizard mode, I would say. Quite in depth. It's a mini wizard mode in 6 chapters, covering all the distinct sections of the song. Starting off with the slow intro, followed by the Mamma Mia and Too Late, leading up to the up-tempo part.
Oh, it's like having the band right here playing, isn't it?
And then, of course, Scaramouche, and then Get Out, and the ending is Nothing Really Matters. Oh well, close to 6 minutes experience covering a vast variety of gameplay and emotions awaits is how they advertise it. So
right. So once you've started it, presumably you get to experience all 6 minutes of it. Yeah.
Right. So, but also independently selectable is the Bohemian Challenge gameplay mode, which we assume works like other challenge modes from other manufacturers.
Yes, indeed.
So, yeah. So congratulations to Pinball Brothers for completing the 1.0 game code. This is a game that greatly improved under code updates.
That's right.
Yeah, once when the game was launched last October, people were a bit like, "Is this it?" They were expecting more, and actually, rightfully so. And more came. More was promised, and more came. And now we're at 1.0. The last version I played was 0.94, I think. Mm-hmm. Which already was a great improvement, so I'm very curious to see how this one plays.
Yeah, and some news as well on the manufacturing and how soon you might be able to get hold of a Queen game if you decide to order one now.
Ooh.
As I understand it, that they've been working hard. Obviously, they've been building up their manufacturing facility in conjunction with Pedretti as the Euro Pinball Corp. And they've been working through all the back orders that they've been taking since last July, and dealing with all the hold-ups and supply chain issues that we've referred to many times in the past. So they are saying that they're taking orders now for the next batch of 250 games, which they say will be for numbers 501 to 750, which I guess means they've sold 500 of them so far.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So as of
math.
June, yeah. They're saying these will be delivered a lot more quickly than the previous games, which is good because that's basically a year, as they due to having the new production facilities. So people ordering now, they reckon, will be able to play the game in about 6 to 8 weeks' time.
Okay.
After ordering it.
That's something that not every manufacturer can say or predict or guarantee.
No.
I mean, I've been waiting for a game for 8 years.
Yeah, we'll get on to that a bit later, but I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. However, it's interesting that I guess that once they get to that point, 6 to 8 weeks' time, they might also be in the position to deliver unordered items, build up stock with distributors.
Right.
So people would actually be able to go into the stores and buy them off the shelf, as it were, straight away.
Right. So, which is a good position to be in.
It is, yeah. I mean, obviously that is that stock which hasn't been bought yet, so that's them putting the money up front in order to produce these games. But I imagine the game like Queen, they're not going to have a problem selling it.
No, and distributors by now should know how well the game is received and how many they expect to sell more. I mean, they know their market, I'd say. So,
but it does seem to be that we're almost in the situation now in the pinball buying market where you have to pre-order a game, and distributors don't really have stock. Games come in and they go out to the buyers.
Right. Basically, they're just moving boxes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's distribution points really, and that's it. To actually have games in stock that a casual buyer could walk in and say, yes, I'd like to have one of those, and then walk out the shop with it. is almost unheard of these days. So that would be a great situation if they could do that.
Right. So, no, very curious. I understand that there is also a third game from Pinball Brothers in the works, but it's not going to be revealed anytime soon. So
no, I thought it might have been this month, but probably going to be later now.
Right. So in the meantime, well, if you're into Queen, and who isn't, this might be a game for you, and you could earn it or own it a lot quicker than other manufacturers might be able to deliver.
Yes, and we mentioned just now about the collaboration with Pedretti Gaming for the Euro Pinball Corporation. Well, Pinball Brothers have been sharing some pictures on social media from that manufacturing facility, showing multiple Alien and Queen games being in the process of being built and about to be shipped out. So they're obviously very, very happy with the way that collaboration is working, and the way they've been to ramp up their production facility, or the speed of production, which is good for them. And they've obviously had back orders for a long time. We said for a best part of a year on Queen games, and I don't know how long Alien games have been back ordered for, but it's nice that they've now got the capacity to fulfill orders, and hopefully when Game 3 is announced, they'll be able to deliver those in a much more timely manner.
Right. Okay. Well, so congratulations to Pinball Brothers for, well, I have to say, a remarkable merger with Pedretti, and both Pinball Brothers and Pedretti have been amazing me with not only the quality of the build of their games, but also the number of games that they are able to build. So
yeah, and the support that they've given them as well in terms of updates and any technical issues as well, which they've addressed in a very timely manner. So yeah, well done to everyone involved in those projects. So move on.
Yeah, so that brings us to American Pinball. And so we're supposed to talk to David Fix, who is the vice president of American Pinball. And well, basically, David, this is your cue to call in. Anytime now, David.
Yeah. Yes. Well, maybe we shouldn't wait too much longer for him to call in.
Okay, it sounds like David is pulling a Gary on us.
Oh, no. It's not for that kind of language. But yes, we were expecting to talk to David at this point, but he is obviously busy at the factory at the moment. So we'll see if we get to talk to David a little bit later. Now, the main news from American Pinball this month is that there's been a rather extensive video released by the company explaining the rules in depth for Galactic Tank Force,
which is their latest game and currently in production.
Quite right. Yeah. Now it's got a lot to it, and it's not necessarily immediately obvious all the depth of the rules. So this video. And I have to admit, I started watching it, and after about 15 minutes or something, I thought, I'm kind of losing track here. I think you kind of need to have a machine in front of you to understand it all, or better write it all down somewhere, because there's a lot of detail in there, and it's all explained in full in the video that you can get on the American Pinball video.
Social media, yeah.
Yeah. Say wherever you...
YouTube channel.
Then I'm sure you'll find the Galactic Tank Force explainer, and it features members of the design team there in their roles as tank captains, and they will tell you exactly how all the different features work. And there's far too many of them to go through now, so best that you look.
So we won't
read it for yourself. No, watch it for yourself. And
now, so if David Fix calls in later this during the recording of this episode, then we'll probably find a time to talk to him. But and else we talk to him some other time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get him on the next Pincast covering June, if not this one. So anyway, hope to hear from you, David. If not, let's move on.
Right. So that takes us to Canada. Pinball Adventures, they published a factory tour on their YouTube channel. They have a YouTube channel now.
yeah. Previously, everything was done on Instagram, but this is a YouTube. They don't seem to do anything on Facebook.
No, which is a pity because that's still the medium that I check the most. But still, interesting video to watch. It's all a bit smaller, I'd say, and more in a like storage unit type of or a business unit environment with a few interesting tidbits to share. Apparently, the 8th Punny Factory game was ready to be shipped, and should have shipped by now, I suppose. And it showed one of their upcoming titles, at least the cabinet and the back glass, which is called Forsaken Ninja, which is a different title than I'd seen before. I've seen Sushi Mania, and there was another ninja themed theme, I think, but it wasn't called Forsaken Ninja. Maybe you remember what the title was?
No, I'm now mixed up with the Turner Pinball Ninja Eclipse game as well. No, it's another ninja game.
Yeah. So, but it was interesting. The artwork was already done for the back glass and so on. Apparently, machines, Punny Factory machines 7 to 20, or by now probably less, but because 8 already shipped, are currently in production, including the 10 engraved editions, which have a completely black cabinet with literally engraved Punny Factory logo, I would say, on the side of the cabinet. And then it looked like that was clear coated as well in a sort of black paint kind of thing. Very shiny. Probably a first in pinball that we've seen something like that. So those are being built and limited to 10, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yep. And what's also interesting is that you can go to Pinball Adventures website and you can look at and see the progress of the builds of the machines as well. How up to date that is, I don't know. But some of those machines have names against them, others don't. So if you do order one and have your name against it, you can track how your game is being developed. So that's the progress of the build against it. So that's quite interesting and another innovative feature, I'd say.
Yeah. So one other interesting tidbit from that video, their next title is supposed to be Elements. And I got the impression that they will show that game at Pinball Expo.
That certainly makes sense. It's I think that game's got a huge amount of promise, having seen the playfield for it and the artwork for it too. I think it looks very interesting, and we'll wait to see how the rules turn out, because that can make or break a game, as we've seen many times in the past. But I think it's got a lot of promise, and I look forward to seeing that at Pinball Expo, if not sooner.
Okay. So that's all the news for Pinball Adventures at the moment. So I'd say we move on to let's move back actually to Europe.
We just talked about, I guess.
Yeah. Pedretti Gaming in Italy last month announced their second 2.0 upgrade kit, if you want to call it, for this time for Whirlwind, called Whirlwind Total Chaos. And the news is rather brief this month. They started shipping Whirlwind Total Chaos, which comes with an acrylic translite and some other features, the display that you need to install in the game, and a display panel and all that kind of stuff.
Completely new code, but no changes directly to the playfield, other than the addition of some interior cabinet artwork, art blades, I suppose.
Yeah. So now, if you're wondering, like, okay, great, a new game to play on your Whirlwind pinball machine if you have one, but how does it play? Well, they provided an in-depth gameplay video as well, in which very well is explained how to make or how to play specific modes and so on. So, well worth checking out if you own a Whirlwind or are interested in possibly buying one.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice kit, and adds a lot to the game. And of course, you've always got the option to flip back to the original game as well if you want to do that instead. And you get all the new hardware for the game with the display panel and new artwork. So yeah, I think a pretty decent kit overall. Maybe not as sort of groundbreaking as the Whirlwind one. As the Funhouse one was with the
still
with the
very
extra display.
Yeah, well, still, it's a very interesting way to breathe new air into your pinball machine from what is it, 1990, something like that?
Before that, I think, in fact, but
89, something.
Yeah, for Whirlwind, yes, and it's something that, as we have seen and we'll talk about shortly, other companies are doing as well under license. Right. So. Yeah, so well done to Pedretti on getting that game or getting that kit shipped out and into the hands of buyers. So if you've got one on order, I hope you enjoy it and get your kit very, very soon.
Right. Okay. So moving on all the way to Australia, Hexa Pinball, who have been working on the Fathom Mermaid edition and other editions that they announced, basically last month. And there's some news on that as well.
Yeah, we mentioned it we reported it in last month's PINcast about the fact that they were going to offer a standard plus edition of the game, which included the new 2.0 code and the extra display and some of the other features which were available. Previously only available in the Mermaid edition. Now that's
which is the highest range.
Yeah, sort of top of the range model of the high of the two versions. Yes. Well, they added a standard plus as a middle edition, which includes quite a lot of the features that were on the Mermaid edition, and available as an upgrade kit for people who bought the base version. Okay, and that has made. It's fair to say quite a number of people who bought the Mermaid edition a little unhappy with the fact that their previously exclusive features are now available for buyers of the standard game to buy and do it as an upgrade. Some people, it's fair to say, who have bought the Mermaid edition couldn't care one way or the other because they've already got their Mermaid edition order locked in, and even the standard plus edition with some of the features, the 2.0 code, is not going to be a Mermaid edition. It's not going to have everything the Mermaid edition has. So they've still got their top of the range model. But others thought when they bought the Mermaid edition that was the only way they could get the 2.0 code, for instance, and now the 2.0 code is available as an upgrade kit for the base edition. So a bit of unhappiness there, I think, from some buyers, but no, not everyone.
I get it on the one hand. On the other hand, more pinball is good for everybody in the business, and if this helps Hexa Pinball to become a more stable company, so to speak.
Yeah, financially.
Financially, and also with the production staff and everything, that they can continue working. I applaud that.
Okay, well, that's kind of the two sides of the coin, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I also get the other side. You think you buy something exclusive, and then it turns out to be less exclusive.
Yeah.
But that's not the first time we've seen that in pinball. So.
No, indeed. Okay. So I don't think we have anything more to say from about Fathom Revisited. So let's move on. And for a first time in a long time, Stern Pinball are way down our list of manufacturers. Although, that's not to say there isn't.
They're still the biggest.
Yes.
No, there's absolutely news. There's just no new game. And the news that is worthy to report.
Well, it's quite a lot of it. But none of it's exactly groundbreaking or earth-shattering.
Well...
or earth-shaking.
Some might be. It depends how emotionally attached you are to certain people, I suppose. So apparently, Stern attended the 2023 Craft Brewers Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, which was held on May 7th to 10th. Mm-hmm. Apparently, there's no better combination than pinball and beer.
Well, who am I to argue with that?
Pinball and women, maybe. And I don't want to sound sexist, but I appreciate the company of women. That's so, and I appreciate pinball. So, but this is an annual conference, and it's the only industry event that serves both on-premise breweries and packaging brewers. He's offering education and idea sharing to improve brewery quality and performance. And of course, Stern, they have a brewery of the month every month. Mm-hmm. Stern is sort of focusing on the brewery market, I'd say, and
breweries and barcades. I think yes, very much so.
So, I suppose people at Stern do like their share of beer.
Well,
I'd say
quite right too. Yep.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call them alcoholics, but we can probably. Well, okay. Anyway, Stern was represented by Eric Gilly, Tyler Carson, Evan Kirby, Roper Fuentes. Recently hired, if I'm not mistaken, and Patrick Powers, who's been a long time force within the company. Okay, well, they had a nice field trip to a brewery convention. I'm sure I can guess what they had to drink while being over there. Probably water. Kind
of interesting that another sort of more senior management were there. You know, Gary or Dave. Or even John Buscalia, you know.
Yeah. Oh well. So anyway, that was one of the interesting items to report on. But if you're a pinball player, then you're probably more interested in new Insider Connected achievements.
Yeah.
To tie in, for example, with Foo Fighters and their new live tour.
Yes, and be disappointed this month because there was that the Foo Fighters started their tour this month, and to tie in with that, they Stern Pinball were doing a new set of achievements, which allowed you to get an achievement for each of the cities on that tour. This is still ongoing, of course, because it's only started on the 24th of May.
Yeah, and they're touring until mid-July, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So for every day that they have a tour gig,
a concert,
then if you play your Foo Fighters connected game on that day, you can get an achievement for that particular city. And if you are so intent on collecting all of them, then you can get a tour saved achievement to try and save the entire tour from the evil overlord. Yeah.
So if you're into collecting insider connected achievements, and then this is definitely something for you. And boy, does it suck if you order the Godzilla game and you don't have it yet.
Foo Fighters.
Yeah, sorry, Foo Fighters.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. But you can still play it on location, of course. So if you can find one near you, you can do that. The actual timing of when these achievements can be collected didn't seem to necessarily tie in with being entirely on the day. It's not like if they're playing a gig, then you can collect that particular city from midnight before the gig till midnight after it. It seemed to sort of be something like 2 p.m. the day before until 7 a.m. the day after. So,
right, okay, so
now, the wider window than just that 24 hours.
Okay, now I'm not very keen on the how the operating settings work on Stern pinball machines, as I have none.
Mm-hmm.
But would you be able to cheat with this, like changing the date on your pinball machine in order to collect
I wouldn't have
specific
thought so,
award?
it's all done by a central server, isn't it? So it needs to be able to talk back to the server and collect the appropriate award. If that award's not being served up by the server at that time, then you couldn't get it.
Okay, just wondering. I mean
that's how I'd imagine it would work, but I have no evidence for that.
Okay, so anyway, enjoy your Foo Fighters achievements in Insider Connected if you're able to play a game.
And
now, I mentioned Godzilla. I misspoke. Sorry about that. But that is because there is Godzilla news.
There is.
Actually, the Stern announced a number of Godzilla accessories, which are now available, which include a Godzilla heat ray destruction topper at $999, well, basically $1,000.
Yeah.
There's also the Mothra egg shooter knob,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically a shooter knob in the shape of an egg, for just $180. And there is a King Ghidorah side armor, which is costing you $290 if you're interested in that, which has these 3 dragons around the flipper buttons.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's art blades as well, coming in at $100.
Well, a bargain.
Now, yeah, exactly. So now the interesting thing about the heat ray destruction topper is that it will enable the King of Monsters time attack mode in the game, which otherwise can't be played.
Ah,
so,
okay, that's interesting. So,
well, and you probably get an insider achievement for that as well.
I'm sure you do. Yes. Okay, so that's something, an exclusive mode, just for that, just for topper owners. Okay,
Right.
I've seen that before, of course, on earlier games, but helps justify the price, I guess. But otherwise, I would say that the reaction to the topper has been mixed. Let's say that.
Mixed.
Yeah. Let's be generous. Mixed. Yes. Some people have got to have it anyway. There's a certain amount of enjoyment of the fact that it's only $1,000.
Right. Which is still a ridiculous amount of money, I'd say, for just a topper.
When you compare that to $2,000 for the Mandalorian one, we saw before,
which was ridiculous anyway, but still, okay.
But so only $1,000 for this one.
Yeah,
but this doesn't have any actual moving parts to it, as far as we can see.
No, it's just LED flame effects in the buildings, no physical animation.
Yeah, that's right. It looks nice, and it's got the extra mode.
Yeah, and the Godzilla seems to be held down by a tie wrap, which is
not sure whether that's just for shipping or whether that's a permanent thing.
I don't know either. But I did see people complain about it. So
yeah,
if it's just for shipping,
it was featured. They remove it featured from the video, which was a bit weird. Having that cable tie round the model. It seems to be the same model of a Godzilla on the topper that's also on the playfield, which obviously makes sense from an ordering point of view, but doesn't add much in the way of diversity to the appearance of Godzilla in the game.
Right. So, oh well. Anyway, that's the news on Godzilla. Then two people got to celebrate as well. To be precise, Thea Ayed has been appointed as Director of Program Management at Stern, and Joe Astone took the position of Manager of Financial Planning and Analysis.
I don't imagine we'll be directly interacting with any of either of those. But,
no, but apparently, okay, so Stern staff basically expanded. Although, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of months ago, one of the financial powerhouses in the company, I'd say, retired. So somebody had to step in.
That's right, yes. Okay, so, obviously Stern boosting their management team there. So as they head towards their new building in around about October time of this year.
I just hope they have enough offices in there.
I'm sure they will make sure they have. So, that's good.
I hear Gary is the first to give up his.
Is he? Oh, okay. That's breaking news. Okay.
No, it's pure speculation on my end.
Breaking speculation. Okay. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's obviously new code, although not as much as we see sometimes other months from Stern. Actually, only for 3 games this month.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters is up to 0.94. Mostly bug fixes, and it added a DJ mixer feature, as we've seen on other Stern pinball machines as well. James Bond 007 is up to version 0.91.
Is it my turn to have a little nap while I was doing this?
Yeah. And James Bond 60th anniversary is up to version 1.06. And if you're into, nobody has that game, so why bother?
Some people might have it. You never know.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, in a bit of unexpected news, I would say, Stern pinball designer and Foo Fighters pinball designer Jack Danger announced his semi-retirement.
Oh, it's one of the cornerstone features of pinball in the Chicagoland area is expecting to be able to wander into some random pinball location and find Jack there doing a live stream.
Yeah, well, I was going to say he's not retiring from pinball design. He's retiring or semi-retiring from streaming on his Dead Flip channel, indeed. But it's not goodbye forever. There will still be occasional streams, but it's just not every day anymore. No.
Well, it was
Jack, and understandably so. I think Jack has a family, and he wants to spend more time seeing his children grow up.
Well, I think he deserves a huge round of applause and pat on the back for the sheer amount of streaming he has done over the past many years.
Not only that, he's been groundbreaking and setting the tone, I would say, for a lot of other pinball streamers that since then picked up streaming and have basically, Jack can be seen as the godfather of pinball streaming, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Not to tie in with another company, but in this case...
Yes, quite right, too. And, it's he has a full-time job at Stern now, so...
Yeah. So thank you, Jack, for all those years of pinball streaming. It's always been a delight watching your stream, which there were quite a few remarkable ones, especially the ones where he was the first to stream new titles with design teams present, and you probably watched many of them yourself as well. So.
I suspect a lot of that will still be going on. It's just the sort of nightly location streams that will be cut back on. But we'll see. So, yeah. So other news.
Other news. Still Stern Pinball. The Economist published an article on pinball, or the growth of pinball, in which Stern Pinball's Zach Sharp, son of Roger Sharp, indeed, was quoted basically saying that the sales of new machine have risen by 15 to 20% every year since 2008. Now, I'm not one to say that might not be correct, but if I'm not mistaken, 2008, that was like the beginning of the Lehman crisis in America. I think 2010 or 2011 would have been probably more accurate, because I think 2008 and 2009 were very dark years for Stern Pinball.
Well, that's a good time to say since 2008 then, because things have only been on the up since then.
Right. Yeah, okay. Well, if you're close to zero, then it's not so difficult to... and they weren't close to zero, but still not the best games coming out, and they didn't sell that many units. At least that's what we expect, based on how the industry was at that time. So anyway, but okay, a 15 to 20% increase every year, that's a good indication for a company, and it allows them indeed to hire more staff, I suppose.
And move to larger premises.
Yeah, exactly. So, which basically means the new premises are twice the size of the current one. So, good for Stern, and hope they can keep it up.
Yeah, that article on The Economist, it's on the Economist website, but you do have to be a subscriber to The Economist in order to read it, or find an alternative way of accessing it, which we won't condone or suggest. But it's not a groundbreaking article. You know, anybody who's listening to this Pincast will know everything that's in there, I would say. But still, it's nice to see it making the mainstream media, as it's called. Yeah.
So anyway, that sort of rounds it up for Stern Pinball, but not exactly.
Yeah.
Sort of related is news from the Electric Playground, which is a new company that recently started producing toppers for Twilight Zone. And they released a video which is called the first episode of The Coin Drop. And in that video, not only did they say that their first batch of Twilight Zone toppers is finished and shipped by now as well, they also announced a second batch of Twilight Zone toppers, on which they will start on June 6th. For those who joined the waiting list, they can order that, and they will produce some extra units as well for people interested to buy them on site, on their website, and get them delivered immediately once the waiting list has been served, of course.
Of course, but that's not the only topper that they're producing, is it?
No, they announced a second topper for which sales will open in August and production will begin, or delivery will begin in September. And that's for, and here's the tie-in with Stern Pinball, that is actually for Godzilla, for which Stern just announced their topper, and the Electric Playground beat them by a day announcing theirs.
Right, so we mentioned that the reaction to... the online reaction, I should say, to Stern's Godzilla topper has been mixed. Then now there is an alternative from the Electric Playground.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the response to that has been yet, because I haven't followed the social, forum post, I would say. But this topper is indeed different, mostly because it's not so much static, but it's mostly flat plastics spaced out together across the depth of the backboard.
Sort of multi-layered then. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Pardon my English, it's not my native language. And so it looks static, although it does have it comes in two editions. A Player's Edition and a Challenger Edition. The Player Edition is static. The Challenger Edition has two moving parts, something spinning and something that's moving up and down.
Yeah, sort of flying saucer that moves up and down, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what the spinning part of it was, but doesn't really matter. It's got some animation to it, and
I forgot to write down the pricing of it, but I think the Players Edition comes at $800, and the Challenger Edition a few $100s more.
Okay, so on a par with Stern's pricing then for theirs.
Yes.
Although I guess you don't get the extra mode if you add this to yours.
No, unless they find a hack to do that. But the topper is still being developed at the moment, so who knows what they might add or improve. So,
okay.
Just so you know, so you have a choice if you own a Godzilla and you're interested in a topper for that game. So, or you just go to the toy store, buy a Godzilla toy for like $20 and put that on top of your game.
Right, okay. So I think that pretty much wraps up our Stern Pinball news. But now I have some breaking news because I understand that David Fix is now available to talk to us to give us the latest update from American Pinball.
Well, how are you, David?
I'm doing good, Jonathan. Good to hear from you, Jonathan, and see you both, you and Martin. It's good to see you guys.
Good to hear from you, David. And tell us what's going on at American Pinball. Then, what's the latest news?
Well, we've been working very hard. It's been a crazy time since the launch, as you guys have heard. Probably we've had a couple issues. One is we've been working on the targets straight up the middle.
We're talking about the launch of Galactic Tank Force for those who just tuned in.
Yeah, Galactic Tank Force, aka Ice Cream. That was the code name for that game.
Right.
So we had a small issue, which we didn't see. Well, we kind of started seeing a little bit at Texas. Surprisingly, we have had tested locations and tested games with over thousands of plays and never had that problem with the bent target, which was a shocker to me. And I'm like, when we first found it, we were like, okay. So the team immediately sprung into action. Zofia, Mitesh, Dennis, he came back from Texas immediately, and they started working on it. We have a nice replacement in the works. We signed off on it a little over a week ago. 500 units of all three pieces. Very simple to put in. We'll correct all the problems on that. And as soon as they are received at American, from the manufacturer that made the brackets, we'll be sending them out to all the customers who've registered their games.
Okay. And so you also had a problem with some magnetized balls as well.
Yeah, weird. Okay, so we usually use carbon balls. That's know the standard for American, and we use STR. I've known Leo from STR for a long time, going back to started pinball about 20 some odd years ago. So as soon as we started getting magnetized balls, and it wasn't like we saw it right away. As crazy it is, we've always ordered them from STR, which is great. To find out that when I was at the factory, guy has been rotating the stock, so he's been taking the balls from STR, and then he's been taking them off from another shelf, which were not STR's balls. And they were not in the games for Texas. They were not in the games for Vegas. They were in one game in Milwaukee, which we were like, what's going on with that? And we replaced them immediately when we started finding them, going, this is kind of strange. And they were in the games that were boxed up from Milwaukee on. So it took us a little time before we found them. Quick call with STR. Leo put me onto the lot numbers. So I immediately started pulling all the lot numbers, went in the back with the team, and just started digging through. And I came across a box that didn't have a lot number on it. And I asked him where he got it from. And then he walked me over to this section that had been, areas that we've been putting extra balls or something, and sure enough, these were carbon balls, and we were putting them in the game. So immediately we reversed, we pulled them all off the shelf, we pulled everything out of production, I put them all up in a upper section, immediately changed everything over to STR, and immediately started contacting all customers and put them out. In fact, the game that was on Jack Danger's stream, we pulled them out, and that was the game we had up in the lab. Trust me, that poor game went through hell because we pulled it apart trying to figure out what was going on with it. put the carbon balls right in, and guess what? The locking mechanism worked just fine. So it's just a comedy of errors kind of thing. We're a small company, that's the crux of American is, you got, guys trying to, rotate inventory, try to keep things moving, just grabbing a case from a different area, and the next thing you know, we have the wrong balls going in the game. Needless to say, we've gotten rid of all those balls. All the balls now in the house are all from STR, and that's the only person we're buying them from. So they're all 100% carbon balls.
Yeah,
because carbon balls do not retain the magnet power that immediately loses it. So
now, apart from doing all that, you guys have been really busy, because we talked about it a little bit earlier on in this PINcast about the lengthy and in-depth video which you produced about all the rules for Galactic Tank Force. Now, that I imagine, besides being a slog, that was also, it looked like it was a lot of fun for people to do.
It was a lot of fun. You know what? It was something that we had been working on a little bit. It came out from Texas. Some people asked us, what are some of the rules? And then it kind of morphed. We kind of started looking at some different ways of explaining it. Are we going to put little trailers up? And then the next thing we said, why don't we just do a whole video shoot? We did the video shoot. We did the whole thing together. And we were going to break it apart in small little segments and then release it slowly. But we thought, you know what? We have it all together. It's all done. Let's do that and put it out to the world. And it's been a tremendous hit. A lot of people are looking at it now, understanding the rule sets, understanding the game concept. And, we've seen an increase again in sales. So it's a good thing for us.
Okay. Congrats on that. I was going to ask, but you already said it, so it's nice to on one hand explain how deep the game is and how much fun, of course, and see that translate into additional sales.
Absolutely. Well, the idea on that was to give, and this just gives you a little bit of the field guide, just gives you a little bit. There's a lot of depth to this game, and we asked Steve and the rest of the team to jump in and let's just start. There's some stuff into this, and you know what? The sad thing is we kind of said this is that you look at games that are licensed theme, and you kind of understand the thought of that license, right? You know that you have to do something because you're following that movie or something. But this is being us. We really don't have anything that kind of tells you which way this storyline is going. So for us to sit down and say, hey, this is the storyline, these are the shots, this is what you got to do, kind of, basically tells the player really how to get through the game and to start building some bigger points.
Right. I have to admit, having watched it, I was surprised and I'm pleased by the level of depth in the rules. I thought it was a lot simpler than it actually was, and there was also some nice touches in there for scoring opportunities as well, which I hadn't grasped the first time around. I almost wonder whether it is available in a sort of like a printed format, because obviously there's a lot of detail there to explain, and you sit down and watch it, and I don't know how long it was 20, 25 minutes, something like that long. And at the end of it, you think, oh, what was it you said about that back there? And it would be nice just to be able to refer to a printed version of that, or at least a summary sheet.
It's going to be a manual the size of a phone book.
And that only takes you through the first, quite a few battles. I mean, there's still a lot of other stuff in there that we haven't even talked about, like the other wizard modes. We didn't touch anything on the wizard mode. So this game is not, you walk up to it, you think, oh, this is a simple game. It looks can be deceiving. It's got a lot going on. There's a lot of scoring points. There's a lot of chances. I know some people who have put in 1-2 billion easily on this game. Some people who have gone even higher than that. And there are some very interesting strategies that were not alluded to in the field guide, but if you play some things certain ways, you can start seeing your points grow really faster. It's going to be, it has been well received by a lot of people in the public, a lot of people who have put their hands on it. I will tell you right now, and I don't usually talk about this, but let's talk about the cash box for a minute. Do you want to hear about the cash box?
I always want to hear about the cash box.
So right now it's earning on par or a little bit better than Foo Fighters in quite a few different locations. I have them, the locations in California are doing very well. The location in Chicago, it's on. All these games are on Dollar Play. The location in Chicago was out earning Foo Fighters by $10, $20 at most for the entire month, but it was up there. It's Chicago. It's a dollar a game swipe. So they had 938 swipes on the game. So if you're taking that for cash value, you can get an on coin play in New York here at Pocketeer, it did very well over the 4 weeks. You think about it, it's 80 games. We had it sitting next to Foo Fighters, Godfather, and Scooby-Doo. All of them are right there. So, and actually it out-earned Scooby by a little bit, definitely out-earned Foo, and Godfather was neck and neck right in the mix of that trio. So on location, it's good. Now, granted, this is the first, second months. I always tell people you got to let it go for 6 months, 8 months. Let's see the longevity for coin op guys. So we'll just wait and see. It's out there. It's earning. The games are flying off the assembly line. We just finished 2 weeks ago. Actually, it's going on 3 weeks ago. We finished the line of Oktoberfest. They are done. So both assembly lines right now are just totally dedicated to Galactic Tank Force.
Oh, it's so nice when you touch on a subject that I just wanted to bring in.
Because I kind of know what you're thinking, Jonathan. I've known this for a long time. You and I and Martin are all friends. We always talk about this stuff. So
right.
Go ahead, John.
So my question to you is, and I'm asking this because we touched on this earlier on in this PINcast recording. Let's say somebody orders a Galactic Tank Force today. How long would they have to wait before they get their game?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to say it's going to be a bit. When is it going to be? Maybe 2 months, 3 months.
Okay,
that's the goal. That's the goal of the location. We want to have this thing done before summer is over with. So that leads me to the question that I have had a lot of people ask me about the signatures. Signatures have not started production yet. The signatures will start production very shortly.
Editions, that is, of course, for those not understanding what you mean by signatures, but signature editions, yes.
Correct. The signature editions, the 200 signature editions will start, and I didn't want to start it until I had all the metal parts in, right? I didn't want to have all the the key pieces to finish. So once I have everything in, then we can start the signatures. I don't want the people who bought the signature edition having to add an extra metal part to the game. So we're going to have all those in. Now, interesting enough is it one metal part? I know that I've seen it on Pinside. Yes, I read Pinside. I do.
For you.
Different. Huh?
For you.
Yeah. Well, hey, you people who live in glass houses, I got to be ready to throw a stone or take a stone. So, it's okay. I have a strong, constitution, as you would say. Mm-hmm. But, and everybody has their opinion, and they're entitled to it. So there you go. But the bracket that we're making, there's 3 brackets, right? It's 3 unique brackets that are going to happen. I could have made 1 and been done with it. Could have made 2 and said it's overkill. 3, I know I'm not going to have a problem ever. So that's what we went with. We went with 3 brackets.
Okay.
Interesting. Just to touch on that bracket for a second, Martin. I don't know if you've seen the Pinside or any of the pictures of that bracket that's holding that unique target bank, that's 13 gauge cold rolled steel, and that is pretty thick when you look at it. And it was surprising to us that it was bending so easily. That led to a new standard that we have instituted at American. Now that when we order any metal parts, we're asking for the certification of the metal from the manufacturer. So that means that whatever that piece of steel is that they're using comes with a piece of certificate that says this is what the steel is. And if I took it to a lab, I could test it and get the same, information. That has to come in on all metal parts coming into American, because the first set of brackets that we got from the manufacturer, over almost 1,000 plays, no bend. This one, bend it with, you can almost bend it with your hand. I can't, but I know some people who have taken devices and bent it with their hand. So,
and this is from the same manufacturer?
Same from the manufacturer. Same supplier and same manufacturer, which is, so, like I said, caught us off the guard. You think that, guys, this is not our first rodeo. We test and test and test things, and a little bit too much sometimes. I know American has been known for its quality. And
the games are built like a tank.
Absolutely. Tanks for the info. But it's one of those things. They're built. We build them tough, but we also make sure that if there is a problem, I'm standing behind my product. So when you guys are buying American, you're buying American pride. You're buying this little company's line of stuff. I mean, I'm kind of lost there on words there right now. It's just kind of weird.
Okay. Now, when you launched the game, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you said that there were going to be up to 4 different editions.
Correct.
Of the game, but you weren't necessarily going to make all 4. You were going to
right away.
One of them was only going to be would be dependent upon demand, shall we say?
Correct. Well, I wouldn't say it's dependent on demand. So the idea of this, Martin, is we launched the deluxe model and the limited and the signature. The deluxe is just the street one that we all know. The tank version is the LE and the signature, right? The signature being the high end with all the extra little bells and whistles, which when we put it into production, we will definitely show off all the extra stuff that you're getting in the game. For the deluxe model, that's basically the same play field as the LE, just in the standard cabinet. There was going to be a classic version, and there still is. So the idea is once limited and signatures are done, we will continue to build deluxes, and we'll continue to build a classic, and we'll probably bring out the classic version, which be kind of like Stern's Pro version, cut down. But not with gameplay. That's the one thing I keep telling people, is that I don't like to change gameplays. Somebody said to me, he said, well, for a street version, you could take out the swinging target and just have a standing targets. Now, what kind of garbage is that? It's got to have a swinging target. That's what, it's part of the gameplay. So, it makes my job a little harder to be able to bring the cost of the bomb down, but that's what we're going to do, So.
Right. Okay. So, any other news from American?
Well, you saw the video, so I'm happy about that. We have some other cool stuff. We're continuing, like I said, we're building as fast as we can and trying to keep it up with demand, shipping games out. We will be doing a launch party shortly, so we'll be doing that. I'm happy to say that England has really stepped into the picture for the first time since Houdini, and has actually bought a good selection of Galactic Tank Force. So, the theme is resonating with a lot of people, right? So, not just the U.S., but all over. So, it's very cool.
And what's your show schedule then for the rest of the year?
The show schedule?
Yes.
So, we'll be at Fantastic for sure. There will be a couple more shows that we're going to be popping in at. There will be some distributors who will definitely be at the show, showing off the game. We will have a very big presence, of course, at the Northwest show in Seattle this coming week. I know Tommy from Nitro has, I want to say, 6 Galactics, 4 Deluxes, and 2 Limiteds. I don't know if they're all going to be there, but I did ship all those out to him for the show, so he will definitely be making a big presence there. Of course, we will be at Expo. You know that. It's right there. We're going to try to actually have the entire cast of Galactic Tank Force on site for Expo this year. That's one of our goals, to bring in, of course, Cayenne and Anoya and Plotnik and the rest of the team, including Duke. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. A lot of shows. We're going to be at IAPA this time. First time ever, we're going to be at IAPA Europe in September. We're going to go over there and support our distributors over there, right? So we have a bunch of distributors over in Europe that are moving a lot of American product, which I'm happy about. And for the first time ever, one of the good little points is that American is catching up on a lot of our back orders. So we have, believe it or not, we have some Hot Wheels in stock. We have some Legends of Valhalla in stock. We have some Oktoberfest in stock. A little bit later on this year, probably after the signatures are done, we'll be running Houdini again. And everybody's like, why would you run Houdini? It's a game from 2017. Why would you be doing that? I'm sitting on over 200 orders of Houdini right now. So those customers definitely want the game. Houdini's got a lot of long legs still. I did see some people saying to us on Pinside, I'm just going to touch on this, that American only builds games to their license, and they have open orders and so forth. But we do have a nice arrangement with Mattel. We've actually already got an extension on Hot Wheels, so that's why we're continuing to build Hot Wheels, and people are still buying that game. Operators and locations are, there's a lot of people out there who say, well, yeah, we trade on Pinside, we trade on, the forums, we're doing this on Facebook Marketbook, you can get this. Yeah, but operators aren't going on there, right? So there's a lot of operators still buying these machines and putting them out in locations. So there's still a lot of market yet, a lot of ground for us to cover.
Okay. So this might be a bold question, but production-wise, is it, besides the games that you just mentioned, mainly Galactic Tank Force, or might we see a new title from American Pinball later on this year?
So we have this beautiful game called Galactic Tank Force, which was released.
Yeah.
The standard reply. What's your favorite game, Dave? Galactic Tank Force. It's on the line right now. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Jonathan, we're working hard, right? The team is always working on the next game. We have games in the queue, which is good. And we're just going to continue working. But right now, Galactic Tank Force, she's the flagship right now. She's doing very well. People are enjoying it. So, and stay tuned. There's always new stuff coming from American, but right now, Galactic Tank Force is on the line. So you got that.
And is the company right-sized at the moment, or are you still looking for particular additional staff?
We're still looking for some additional staff. We went through a little bit of a shakeup, I'll say that, in March. We lost some people, but we've gained some people back. We have a new purchasing guy, which I'm very happy to bring on board. He's been not in the industry, but he's been, working in purchasing for a long time. So he's already, got himself situated in that. It's another David. So, and then, I did lose a good friend, Max Senesek. Max,
right, yeah.
Unfortunately, Max took a job. He got an offer, and his girlfriend wanted to move back to Milwaukee. So he's like, David, I got to take this. I said, okay. Hey, listen, I understand. Good friend, will always be part of American Pinball family, as it were, and alumni. And he's always there. I'm sure if he wanted to order a game, I'll still give him an employee's discount, because Max was always there with us in the trenches. But we have 2 new people into sales. We have Megan and also Steve. So we'll be making announcements very shortly of these two new people there who will be helping out with distributors and, making sure that everything gets moving out, So there you go. If I had one Max, it takes two people to replace one Max, just to tell you how good of a worker he was. He was a great guy.
So are you still looking for particular roles?
We are. We're still looking for, of course, mechanical engineers. Where Zofia is, the head. We have a couple other juniors, mechanical engineers, but it doesn't mean that I'm not looking for more mechanical engineers. Same thing with software. It's a small company, Martin, and I think you've touched on that a little bit for me. When you think about an art department, I have Jack Hager as my art director, and then I have Jessica and Bobby, who are my animators. That's it. I got two. You think about Stern or JJP and some of those other companies, they have, 20, 30 people. It's kind of funny. Software. Go ahead.
Not in the art department, but still, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just a lot of people. Same thing with software. I mean, I have Casey and Steve and Joe. That's it. Joe's part-time. So that's a small team there. I have Dennis as a designer, and I got Ryan. I have two guys, and Zofia as that, and that's it. And then I got Mitesh. He's my go all the way around kind of guy who helps build Whitewoods, does all the cable harnessing, understanding how to gets all that through. And make sure that we get through for testing and all that other stuff. And then we have Benjamin, who assists everybody in there. So, like I said, it's not a big office. You're talking about a very small ragtag team, a good team that will go into battle with everybody. And you know what? I'm proud of all of them. I wouldn't change any of them. They're hardened people. They want to be there, and it's the passion, right? They have a passion that is great. And they want to be there. So, and then the team in the back in production, I got a great little team of people in production right now. So they all want to be there as well.
Okay. So last year, October, American Pinball at Pinball Expo did the American Pinball Dream Challenge, if I'm not mistaken, that it was called. Is there any news regarding the outcome of that contest, and will there be another edition at the upcoming Pinball Expo? Are you looking for more homebrew games?
We're always looking for homebrew games. I'm always looking for people. So, and there was a winner. That winner was notified because they did let's say a title that requires us to make sure that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. We wanted to make sure that we have that all anchored in before we make the announcement of that game. So we kind of put the horse before the cart before, and we're not doing it this time, but the winner is there. They did a great job. I'm excited about the game. Of course, it needs to be, refined, but overall, it's very, very impressive, right? There are there's a lot of guys. I mean, I was just at MGC, and there's a lot of cool homebrews that were there that I got to play. And you know what? That's the future, right? Look, the homebrew game, Archer, came out, and that was taken by somebody. A game from Scott Denisi, the Total Nuclear Annihilation. These games were homebrews, and there's a reason that they were put together pretty good. So, there is a lot of new future ahead of us. Even Ryan McQuaid's Sonic Spinball, that was a fun game too. It shows that there's a passion for these people. So I applaud the passion. I applaud the hobby. So.
Right. Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us tonight, David.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Always a pleasure. We always enjoy having you as a guest on the PINcast, and always enjoy seeing you in person at pinball shows. Hopefully it won't be too much longer before we get to meet again in person.
I hope so. And trust me, Martin, I still owe you a Swift pint, and I owe Jonathan a Swift kick. I mean, a Swift pint also.
I'll drink to both of those. Yeah.
No, I kid you both. No, I do owe you guys some booze, some adult beverages. So we have to definitely do that. And I hope everybody's been well and good over on that side of the pond.
You too. Yep. And we will see you before too much longer. I can guarantee that.
Sounds great, guys.
And it's time to move on to another Greater Chicagoland area company. And we were just talking before we were talking to David, we were talking about what's been going on with Stern. So let's now talk about their neighbours at Jersey Jack Pinball. And, not a huge amount of news, to be honest, coming from them this month, is it, Jonathan?
No, well, they're obviously busy building the Godfather limited edition, which is currently in stock and ready for immediate shipping. As we just heard from David, that game is earning also very well on location. So congratulations for that to Jersey Jack Pinball. But they're not neglecting their older titles, as there is a new code update for Toy Story 4 Pinball. Some general gameplay improvements, and it adds an audio equalizer. Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. So as you say, not a massive update, but some nice that they're still supporting Toy Story 4, and it's getting new love. And I wonder whether that's the one that takes out the score bit, or whether that was in an earlier update.
I haven't checked yet, but oh well. If you are into pinball factory tours, then be sure to check out Jersey Jack's Facebook page, as they did a factory tour with Godfather on the line. So if you wanted to take a quick look how that game is being put together, then check out that video on Facebook, Jersey Jack Facebook page. So, and then the most interesting news that I suppose that came out from Jersey Jack Pinball actually didn't come out from Jersey Jack Pinball, but from a source that you probably would not expect to reveal any Jersey Jack news, as we're talking about Joe Kaminkow of Aristocrat and also Kapow Pinball, who has been a long time, actually he's a co-founder of Stern Pinball, and since then been associated with Stern Pinball as well. And basically he announced that Jersey Jack Pinball secured the Harry Potter license. And that went accompanied with a mock-up of a Stern Harry Potter pinball cabinet that uses artwork which has been confirmed is by Christopher Frenchy, but it's from some years ago.
Yes, so this was presumably a mocked-up game which Stern used, and Joe, I guess, used to pitch to either Warner Brothers and or J.K. Rowling,
right,
to how a Harry Potter pinball machine produced by them would look, the kind of job that they could do with it. Because obviously it's a reasonably recent one, because it's got the current size LCD display on it, so it hasn't got a dot matrix or anything like that, so it can't be that old. But it was really a sort of an example of the artwork that they were put on the cabinet and on the back box, because it didn't show anything of a playfield.
Right. So now let me look up. I got a screenshot of the post by Joe Kaminkow, as there was something interesting. At least I found interesting in that. In that post. And let me put it up right here.
You already mentioned that it's unusual that Joe will be posting about what Jersey Jack Pinball were doing.
Yeah.
But I took from that to be that Stern and Joe had been expecting to get the Harry Potter license, and at the last minute, it looked like Jersey Jack Pinball had taken it from them, or won out in the war, the bidding war to take the license for a pinball game, and there was a certain amount of sour grapes from that.
Either Jack did a brilliant move on his end, or someone dropped the ball at Stern Pinball, and sour grapes indeed would not be, well, I can imagine, yes. So what I found interesting, because I have the screenshot of the original post by Joe Chemico, which since has been deleted, but it literally says, "Hey pinball fans, here's the scoop. Jersey Jack has secured the license for Harry Potter for pinball. No waiting, no speculation, they locked it in." I find the no waiting very interesting, because Jersey Jack Pinball is a company that run a game for a year. If you look at Guns N' Roses and Godfather, they will probably run for a year as well. So the no waiting bit, well, my guess is if they secured it, and let's say they secured it recently, it might still take a couple of years before we get to see that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing here that, and we've spoken to Jack several times in the past about how the licensing process works,
right,
or sometimes doesn't. But it looks like in the past, companies have thought they had a license locked in and secured, only to go and then have another company come and take it out from under them.
Well, that's with one of the games that Stern used to play, for example, with Godzilla on Spooky Pinball.
Yeah, and Jack's told us in the past about how some of the licenses that he thought he had, I mean, even the Wizard of Oz, he thought he'd lost it for a while, that license, managed to get it back. And the fact that Joe is saying it's locked in kind of suggests that that's the end of the process, the end of the licensing process, and it's Stern hasn't got it, Jersey Jack Pinball has, and now they move on from there. There's no more who's going to have it. Are Stern going to be able to steal it away from Jersey Jack? It's like, okay, that's the end. It's signed, sealed, if not yet delivered.
Right. Okay. So if true, because we still have no confirmation from Jersey Jack Pinball, and I can understand why, because their focus is on The Godfather, of course, and other games that are probably in development. But if true, congratulations to Jersey Jack Pinball. Now, I did talk to Jack, I think a week or two ago, about this matter, and of course he did not confirm anything. I didn't ask either, but I can understand why he wouldn't confirm anything. He was just, I'd say, well, let's call it curious why Joe would actually speak out on that matter at all. It's not very professional, I'd say.
And did you get any response from that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But I can see why Jack would be wondering why Joe posted that in the first place.
It seemed an odd thing, and if it wasn't for the fact that Joe admitted later, after having removed that post, he admitted that he did post it.
Yeah,
I would have thought it. Would have been a made up or a spoof post, but the man himself says yes, he did say that.
Hacked accounts? No, not the case.
No. There you go. So we certainly look forward to seeing what Jersey Jack Pinball got in that license.
You know, this is going to lead to years of speculation what to do with that game, because there's so many movies to pull from. But even if true, we don't know what the license is exactly for.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean.
I mean, you can speculate, it's Harry Potter. It could just be for the characters. It could be for one movie. It could be for all movies.
Yeah.
We don't know. And there's it could be for Harry Potter 5. I don't know.
Yeah, it could even be for a future game, a future movie,
or
which
it
hasn't come out yet.
It could be for the animated cartoon series that's apparently coming.
Well, that's a thought as well. Yeah.
So,
but that does not do the speculation on other people's behalf. We'll just rejoice in the fact that it looks like there is going to be a Harry Potter pinball coming out before too much longer, and look forward to seeing what can be done with it, because there's certainly a huge amount of assets to work with. So.
So the only thing I fear now is that you have you probably start with the game, or with the game that you have to pick which class you're in, or which group of students, which house, and all the different possibilities, and of course, Keith Johnson probably has his. Can program 1,000 modes for you to play, and a million different ways to play the game.
Well, I got all the spells that you can cast. I mean, but different wands. Should probably start with the sorting hat. But anyway, let's not get into all that. That's whatever they come out with. I'm sure it'll be absolutely marvelous, and we will wait to see what that is.
Right.
So let's. I don't think we have any more Jersey Jet Pinball news.
No, that's it. But
so let's move on to our next company, and Spooky Pinball have been. They too have been doing a factory tour. It's factory tour time.
Yeah, exactly. And
so they've been showing those on. Was it on Facebook? I think it was on Facebook.
Yeah, I think Facebook. Yes,
and might be on YouTube as well. Around their expanded factory now, so you can see them making the Scooby-Doo games. And speaking of Scooby-Doo, if you already have a Scooby-Doo game, then you will be receiving a free upgraded LED driver board, which apparently handles all sorts of new awesome light shows that the previous board couldn't, and probably fixes a particular issue that was in that version of the board. If you have the game already, Spooky will be sending that board out to you, and if you have it on order, then your game, as it comes off the production line, will already have this new board installed, so there's no further action needed.
Right.
So nice to know that you'll be able to get some enhanced lighting effects in your Scooby-Doo game.
Okay, can't wait to see what they look like. And for those who haven't played it yet, I remember playing Scooby-Doo at the Texas Pinball Festival, and surprisingly more fun than I expected it to be.
Absolutely, I think it was a great game. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But as we've seen, the code tends to improve over time, and makes the game even more fun.
Right. So, that's about the only news from Spooky Pinball for this month.
It is,
yeah. So, so let's move on to Multimorphic, who came out with it's not a monthly update, but say almost quarterly.
It's occasional when they have news to bring us, and Jerry Stellenberg from Multimorphic sent out a message. Basically updating on the production status and the timeline for games which are in production or being ordered now.
Right.
And they've been forced to push back production on a number of things slightly by a few weeks. Jerry said with even though they've got an expanded assembly team, which has enabled them to build and ship most of the back-ordered playfield modules, with the exception of Final Resistance, which hasn't actually gone into production yet. They say that the Weird Al Heist and the Cosmic Kart Racing playfield queues will be clear in the next couple of weeks. This was a couple of weeks ago, so it might even be clear by now. Cannon Lagoon is, if you order
already
one of those,
clear. Yeah.
Yep, they have all been delivered, and the last few remaining back-ordered Lexi Lightspeed playfields had all shipped in the next couple of weeks. But despite that, is that they haven't managed to scale up their cabinet production, the full machine build, fast enough to match the estimated shipping that they put out before, which meant that they are a little bit later in delivering those. We said before that it was probably about a 12-month delay on timeline between ordering a P3 machine and actually getting it delivered. He said that's probably gone back a little bit, about another 15 weeks. He said current build machines are originally estimated for mid-January. So that's quite a few, 3.5 months behind estimates.
Right. So,
but
any positive news?
Well, I'll say the positive news was in the almost elimination of the back ordering of playfield modules. So those are coming on leaps and bounds, but cabinets themselves are being put back. We mentioned about Final Resistance earlier, but hadn't actually started production yet. He said they've had to bump the start of production a couple of weeks, as still waiting for production parts to arrive and for them to be tested and make sure they meet the specification. So they're looking at starting those in late June or early July, so the end of this month or the start of next. But so with that, with the larger production playfield facility in place, they'll be able to turn them out a lot faster than they thought they could originally. Mm-hmm. So they reckon it'll actually take less than 6 months to ship all the existing Final Resistance orders to people who already have a P3. Right. If you're waiting for a P3 build, then the original delay still stands. But if you have a P3, then you should get your Final Resistance game if you ordered one within 6 months.
Right. Okay. Now there is another bit of interesting news regarding Final Resistance. As we know, an original theme designed by Scott Danesi and his team. Surprisingly, or maybe not, depends on how you look at things. Final Resistance has already broken sales records set by the previous game, Weird Al Yankovic, Natural Museum of Hilarity, which is quite unusual for an original theme, I would say.
I think it's a testament to Scott and the team's reputation, and also, of course, the increased number of P3 machines out there now.
Right.
So there's a larger user base, which has been driven by games like Heist and Weird Al.
Right.
So the market is bigger, and this is as long as they keep producing great games, I suppose they'll keep breaking sales records.
Yeah, well, that's very likely indeed, because obviously more P3s around means if you come up with a great game, the chances are the previous record will be broken again, because more people are in the position to add a new playfield module to their already owned P3 cabinet game. Yeah. So, but still, congratulations to Scott and his team for breaking the Weird Al sales records.
Yep, that's a new benchmark that the next game will have to try and aim for.
Right. Yep. Okay. And that rounds it up for Multimorphic, I would say.
I think it does. Now, we mentioned before in previous pincasts about a company called Cardona Pinball, and the fact that at the Texas Pinball Festival back in March, they were showing their Black Rose Skull and Bones.
Which is an upgrade kit.
It's a 2.0 type kit for Black Rose.
With a new Translite artwork and, of course, rules and so on.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Now, that's still not actually available to purchase through the CardonaPinball.com web shop, so not through them themselves. Although Planetary Pinball do have it for sale for at a price of $2,000 US, but only for the US market, they say at the moment, because it seems to operate on 110 volts, so it plugs into the service outlet on US Black Rose games, whereas non-US games don't tend to have that same connection for power. Right. But Planetary Pinball do say that they'll have an international version available soon.
Okay.
Now, so I don't know whether that will work on a different voltage or whether it will have, like CE approval, whereas maybe the US one doesn't have that. But as soon as that is available, we will let you know. But for now, if you're in the US, you can buy the Black Rose Skull and Bones through Planetary Pinball for $2,000.
Right. Okay. And of course, there's also the No Good Gophers Battle for the Green upgrade kits available as well through.
Yeah, that's available now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving to basically the Netherlands, where I'm based, Dutch Pinball did, as several other companies did the past month, a live factory tour, quite in depth, I have to say. They did that on Thursday, May 11th, and is available to watch on their Facebook page.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's I've been there, so I know what the factory looks like. I found it an interesting, well-explained factory tour, although the audio wasn't. You couldn't always hear Barry talking as he turned away from the camera occasionally. But there's a couple of interesting facts from that video that I would like to mention here. Dutch Pinball is currently building about 10 games per week, still Big Lebowski games. In terms of there's still about 50 early achiever games left to be built. Early achievers were those who locked in a game. I think in 2014 it was already when the game was announced at Pinball Expo, it's been a long road since then, and still 50 of those games have to be built. The current one of the current early achiever games on the line was 121, which is going to Charles Thomas in New York. So finally, Charles, your game is coming your way. And right at the end of the video, I'm not sure whether we should be talking about. I did think I saw something that we hadn't seen before, but nobody picked up on it yet, so maybe I shouldn't touch on it because I'm not sure whether it was supposed to be shown.
Well, I think you've said that now. You've got to tell us what it is. I mean, you can't leave a hint like that.
Okay, well, I'll just say, look around the 24-25 minute mark and see if you see anything that you haven't seen before. That maybe might be a clue, or maybe not, that's all I'm gonna say.
You can't get much more vague than that. Right.
Yeah, okay. 24-25 minute mark is right at the end, and then you might spot something, maybe you don't. So, anyway.
Well, thanks for that. Yes, I'm sure everybody will be scouring over that video. Well, it'll certainly increase the number of downloads or streams.
Right.
Of it.
Okay. Well, you're welcome, Barry.
Get those numbers up. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, that's all the news from Dutch Pinball.
Okay, well let's fly all the way around the other side of the world to Taiwan and see what Mike Kalinowski at Homepin's been up to, because they're obviously building the This Is Spinal Tap game, and he's been sharing a few pictures on his Facebook feed, I think, and one of which was showing I think I counted them, about 24 pod assemblies, which is the bit where the ball gets trapped inside.
Right.
And this is for the This Is Spinal Tap game. He said they are complicated mechs because they need to be able to close and then open and release the ball from inside.
Right.
So he was showing a big sort of drawer or rack of those that have been assembled, and also shared a picture of the pinball production line, where a number of staff are being trained to how to build the games, basically.
Okay.
So they're sort of ramping up production with the expectation of selling good numbers of This Is Spinal Tap. So
Okay, well, it's
so
about time, I would say. But
it's beyond time, that many would say. But
yeah,
we're certainly looking forward to getting our hands on the game and playing it. Because we've seen lots of pictures and some videos, and there's been a lot of talk about it for a long time. But we haven't actually got to play it, have we?
No, not yet. So I'm actually curious when Mike is coming over to either Europe or America with the game. Although the game is already available to play at the Pinball Hall of Fame in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it at other pinball shows yet. So.
No, it seems to be about the only one. But hopefully that'll change before too much longer.
Right.
Okay, so moving on.
Chicago Gaming, and in this case, Play Mechanics. Their combined effort resulted in Pulp Fiction, which is scheduled to start production this fall. But if you're in the Schaumburg or Chicago area, the game is already available on location for public play at Antarium in Schaumburg, Illinois, where it seems to be very popular, which is no surprise, I suppose. And I tend to think of this as putting a game on test, like pinball companies used to do in the 70s, 80s, 90s, basically. So that not only that they see how the parts hold up and how it plays and how it earns, mostly how it earns, so they have a good story for distributors to say, like, hey, this game is earning this much a month or a week, and so that's how I think you should see the placing of this game this early already in Antarium, especially considering that production is still a couple of months away at the earliest.
Absolutely,
So, that's all I had from Chicago Gaming. No news on how Cactus Canyon remake is doing. So no news on that.
No, in fact, we have no news from a bunch of other pinball companies.
Right.
So we can just rattle through those, and we could say that Bigtronic in Spain, we have no news from them. STR Pinball in Spain, we have
not really a manufacturer, but still, no news. Quetzal Pinball, also no news, although they are still apparently working with Bigtronic, who we just mentioned. Then Turner Pinball.
No update on their plans for Ninja Eclipse, which we mentioned earlier, or any future titles either.
Okay, I didn't see any news from Circus Maximus either.
No, indeed. But we have had some other bits of news, though.
Yes. Okay, so let's look into those.
Yeah. Well, we both, I believe, received an email from a George Spelvin.
Yeah, which is a popular nickname in the theatrical world for an anonymous actor or actress.
Okay. He doesn't necessarily want to reveal their identity.
Right.
Yes, saying that there's a new mystery pinball company coming, but not giving any more details yet, other than to say they're not Tilt Bob Pinball, which we've already mentioned before, and say that more clues are coming, which to me was one big yawn. It's like, well, if you've got something to say it. If you haven't got anything to say, then wait until you have.
Okay, so diving into it a little bit more, apparently, what the email which I received as well, it showed a bunch of pictures, and the first one was it's suppose a sort of key fob type of plastic, which says an amazing pinball machine is coming. Shh. And it had a logo of a pinball bat with a ball right at the tip, not on it, but in the on the same line as the X of the or the center of the pinball bat, I would say. Then at Allentown and at Pinfest, a poster was apparently shown with the same tagline: "An amazing pinball machine is coming shh with that same logo. And then there was another poster spotted saying, see you at the ball. Again with that flipper ball and flipper bat and ball logo. The mailing did suggest ongoing speculation, which I wasn't aware of, so it might as well been sent to create such speculation. Well, it also said they are not Tilt or Bob, and that more clues will follow. I haven't seen any since then, but I haven't been to any shows. Maybe at the upcoming Northwest Pinball Show we could see something. And the fact that the word amazing is in capital letters on the outings that I just mentioned. Not sure whether that's a reference to the potential theme of the first game of this mystery pinball company. But for now, okay, I'm not holding my breath. We're just waiting and seeing. I think there are enough pinball companies out there already, or actually making games. You've got to come up with something quite special if you want to stand out from the crowd these days. And right.
And I guess they want to build up speculation and excitement, but you build up excitement by producing an exciting game, not in teasers. We get a bit fed up with teasers.
Well, if you want to talk about hyping a game with teasers, I think Dutch Pinball at Pinball Expo 2013, I think it was, basically did that. That was a masterclass in how do you tease a game that doesn't exist yet. And then it took a full year, and then the game was there, and it blew everybody's off their feet. So,
no, but these days, if a company's producing it, or a major company's producing a new game, you don't just get the tease, you get the tease of the tease video.
Similar
and
to
then you get the tease video, and then you might get the reveal after that, and then you get the full launch. It's like, cut to the chase. Let's just get, if you've got a new game.
Well, I thought it was kind of interesting going back to Pinball Brothers, who were announcing an announcement for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they announced that they would do an announcement tomorrow. That kind of stuff. Yeah, I thought it was rather funny, but oh well. And a pinball company is only a pinball company, in my opinion, if they have manufacturing in place. And we've seen too many pinball companies come up with a pinball design and then try to manufacture it and fail on that end.
Yes, speaking of which, let's move on to our next item of news, which is related to Deep Root Pinball in a sort of roundabout kind of way. And it's a little latest update on what's going on there on the case by the Security and Exchange Commission.
You tell me.
And their civil case against Robert Mueller for the Deep Root fiasco. Apparently it's going to go to private mediation now. The judge has ordered that the two sides, the SEC and Robert's lawyers, have private meetings and try to work out an out-of-court settlement in relation to the SEC's charges against Robert. Maybe that will just result in a fine, a ban from involvement in future investment products, maybe some kind of disbarring from legal practice. We don't know. It may end up, without them coming to any kind of settlement, it may result in it going to a court.
Sounds like he's not going to jail.
I don't think he's ever going to go to jail. It's a civil case at the moment. But what the big question out there is whether, once this is settled, whether there will be a Department of Justice criminal prosecution once the SEC's case is settled, either in court or by mediation. Is the Department of Justice sort of waiting in the wings to pounce once the SEC's case is done? Anyway, the SEC can submit a proposed settlement by the 1st of June, this is today. It was yesterday now, because we're into the 2nd. And if they do submit a proposal, then Robert's defence lawyers can submit their proposal by the 8th. and the two sides have until the 13th to either agree or it'll go to mediation. So they're in the sort of pre-mediation stage where both sides make offers, and if that's not agreed, it goes to mediation. If that doesn't work, then it will end up in court. So that won't be until probably October, I think. That's the current date set for a court hearing. But in the meantime, it may all get settled in private and with a slap on the wrist and some kind of restitution. But there's no money left. There's only a certain amount that can be achieved financially for those who lost out.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I suppose there will be more news on the potential outcome of this pre-mediation next month.
Yes, we should find out whether it's gone to mediation or whether it's all been settled. I mean, it may just be an announcement to say it's all done and dusted, and here's the outcome.
Right.
You know.
Okay. So, I think that's it for Deep Root. But you also found, we already discussed the Hexa Pinball from France, but apparently there's another new pinball manufacturer from France.
Yes, a company called Rebellion Pinball, based in Besançon in France. Besançon. They had a game called Space Singularity at the Le Tréport show, which neither of us went to this year, but right. They were there. And they made it from scratch as a large LCD in the back box, but it's mostly a single level blue coloured playfield with red plastics and ramps. Not sure if they plan on developing it further or making any other games, but its potential is a name to watch out for, Rebellion Pinball. And Space Singularity was their game, and it looked interesting. Some oddities about the way the scores are displayed. It has potential for 9 digits for the score, but when you start the game, it shows it as like 000,000,000 rather than just 0.
Just like on an EM game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Except it's on a big LCD.
Right.
So, but anyway, that's just one thing which struck me straight away about the game. But it looks like a nice effort from the first game from Rebellion Pinball. So good luck with them, and as I say, name to watch.
Right. Okay. So, what I understood, we mentioned Pinball Expo already a couple of times. One of the biggest pinball shows and the longest running annual pinball show, actually, in Schaumburg, Illinois, this year, which is hosted or organized by Rob Burke. And Rob Burke just opened his Pastimes Arcade in Girard, Ohio. Actually yesterday, with Mike Hale as the project lead and director, which probably means that Rob's games will be there, but Rob himself not that much. I assume daily operations will be run by Mike Hale. Mm-hmm. So, but the game or the Pastimes Arcade will or has over 300 pinballs and 150 arcade games, so that's not a small location.
That's massive. No, it's getting on the same size as the Pinball Hall of Fame in Vegas.
Yeah. Or the no longer existent Museum of Pinball in Banning.
Banning, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're in the Ohio area near Cleveland or so on, the Pastimes Arcade is located at the 419 North State Street in Girard, Ohio. So do pay them a visit and admire Rob Burke's collection of pinball and arcade games.
Yes, I was hoping to get over there in October when we go over for Pinball Expo, but unfortunately I had a quick check and see how long it would take to drive from where we're staying to Girard, and it looks to be about 7 hours each way.
You mean Rob isn't sending us a private plane to pick us up?
Well, not at this stage. This is the opening bid, so just putting it out there. 7 hours, long time by car. Alternative means of transport are available.
Right. Okay. So what else do we have?
Well, there's some pinball shows and events going on. The end of this month, I'll be at the Swavesey Pinball Weekend in Cambridgeshire, where I'll be running the UK Pinball Cup. That's a nice, free, easy to enter, easy to win competition with lots of nice prizes, and it's a big charity fundraiser really for 3 days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Machines are all on free play. You can either make donations or buy tickets to the raffle, and it's all in aid of charity. No one takes any money out of it, and it's held in a pub in the countryside. So there's plenty to eat, drink, and play if you want to come along. And so I'd recommend it. It's the Swavesey Pinball Weekend in near Cambridge, in Cambridgeshire, in England.
Right.
Meanwhile, over in Germany, it's competition time. It's tournament frenzy.
Yeah, and quite some time. Actually, 2 weekends in a row. Last weekend we had the European Pinball Championships, which were held in Fulda. Mm-hmm. Bulls and Balls was that location. A very popular
great location.
Yeah, heard lots of positive things about it, and
Fulda itself is a lovely town or city.
I haven't been there yet, so but I'd love to go there.
I recommend it.
But the pinball fun didn't stop there, as the IFPA 18th World Championship is also held in Germany, and that actually started yesterday with the Epstein Cup. That is held at Freddy's Pinball Paradise for the second time, I had to add, because I think 2013 or 12, something like that, it was also held over there. We were both present at the time. Unfortunately, I am too busy this weekend to actually attend, because I would have loved to go there. It's always fun to go to Freddy's Pinball Paradise.
Another great location, yes.
Yeah, and Freddy, in the meantime, has become one of the major distributors in Germany for pinball machines and parts, by the way. So lots of tournaments going on in Germany, and very well-respected tournaments, I would say. I mean, the IFPA World Championship is not like your next-door tournament or next-door neighbor tournament.
No, it's got many international players, including quite a lot from the US, have come over. And congratulations to the US team who won this year's Epstein Cup, beating the European team. So congratulations to all the players in that. Right. I won't name them all now, but they know who they are, and well done to the US for I think reclaiming I think they won it last year as well, but it was on US soil, but retaining then the Epstein Cup in the IFPA 18.
Right. Okay. So I'm planning to cover the IFPA 18 World Championship a little bit on the pinball-magazine.com website. So I'm still working on the translation of an article that was published in Germany. I hope to publish that on the Pinball Magazine website. If you're interested in that, make sure to take a look.
Certainly will.
Thank you to Anita from Freddy's Pinball Paradise, actually Freddy's daughter, for inviting me, and she will also be providing me with this article that I will be hosting for international readers. So.
Great. Okay, look forward to reading that.
Yeah.
Right, so that's almost the end of this PINcast, I think. Looking back at the month of May. Okay, and with that, that's the end of this month's PINcast for May 2023. We'll be back at the start of July with our next PINcast, looking back at all the events in the pinball world throughout the month of June.
Right.
But until then, from me, Martin Ayub of Pinball News.
And me, Jonathan Houston of Pinball Magazine.
We'll wish you a very enjoyable June, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.